Okay, so for these negative exponents, remember anytime you see a negative exponent, it doesn't mean a negative number. Okay, it means a fractional number, a small fractional number. So I'm going to go ahead and make a fraction sign. Okay, so there's my equal sign, there's my fraction sign. Alright, so 1 goes in the numerator, and then 2 to the positive 4 goes in the denominator. Okay, and then I can go ahead and you can type in the calculator if you want. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 4, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, so this is 1 over 16. Okay, 1 over 2 to the 4th, or 1 over 16. Alright, next one I'll do is number 3. Again, another negative exponent. I'm going to rewrite it as a fraction. 1 goes in the numerator, x to the negative 5. That's going to go to the denominator, x to the positive 5. Okay. Oh, and I want to see both of these things here in number 1. Alright, number 5. So, bases are the same, and we're multiplying. So, since we're multiplying, we're going to add those exponents. Okay. So, negative 1 plus negative 2 is negative 3. Okay. 1 plus negative 2 is negative 3. Alright, so it's a negative 3 exponent. So I'm going to write here 5 to the negative 3 power. Okay, so this is a negative exponent, so I have to rewrite this. Okay, my pen is dying on me, so let me grab another pen. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this as a fraction. This is going to be, here's my fraction, 1 over 5 to the positive 3. Okay, so I want this part, and then I'm also going to evaluate this. This is 5 times 5 times 5. Okay, 5 times 5 is 25, times another 5 is 125, so this is 1 over 125. Okay, so multiplication, so I added those exponents. Negative 1 plus negative 2 is negative 3. Alright, so let's do another one. Number 7. This is negative 7 plus 3. Again, it's multiplication. The bases are the same, w. So I'm going to add those exponents. Negative 7 plus 3, negative 4. Okay, so I get negative 4. This is a w to the negative 4 power then. Add those. Okay, so w to the negative 4 power. Negative exponent, I need to rewrite as a fraction. So I'm going to write a fraction line. 1 in the numerator. W to the negative 4 becomes w to the positive 4 in the denominator. Alright, so I'm going to jump down here to number 14. Alright, so number 14, let's look for anything that doesn't have an exponent, any term that doesn't have exponent. Let's write an exponent of 1 on it. Okay, so here I have this negative 3, it doesn't have an exponent, I'll write a 1 exponent. This x also has a 1 exponent, so this is y. This 4 has a 1 exponent on it. Alright, so notice the negative 3 and the 4 have 1 exponents. That's a regular old negative 3 and that's a regular old 4. Those are not exponents. Okay, so they both have exponents of 1. So I want to multiply the negative 3 and the 4 together. Okay, so negative 3 times 4 gives me a negative 12. Okay. Now, for the x's, I have a 1 plus negative 3. Alright, for the x's, 1 plus negative 3 is negative 2. So I have a negative 2 on the x. And then for the y, I have 1 plus 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. Okay. Alright, so notice I have a negative exponent. Okay. So I'm going to rewrite this as a fraction because I have a negative exponent. That negative exponent, x to the negative 12, x to the negative 2, I'm going to put that in the denominator. X to the positive 2. Okay, everything else that doesn't have a negative exponent, this negative 12 has an exponent of a positive 1. Okay, anything that doesn't have a negative exponent will stay in the numerator. So this will be negative 12 y to the 4th. So it's negative 12 y to the 4th in the numerator, x squared in the denominator. Okay. All right, let's take a look at 15. So 15, the bases are the same, and we're dividing, so we're going to subtract the exponents. Okay, so we're going to subtract these exponents. Negative 6 minus 2. Negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8. Okay, we're going to subtract the exponents, so the base stays the same, 2 to the negative 8 power. Okay, so I have a negative exponent. Rewrite that as a fraction. 1 over 2 to the positive 8. Okay, so there's part of what I want right there. And 2 to the positive 8. So I have here, well, let's go ahead and write that out. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. There's 4 of them. Times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to just go ahead and do this in my head. You can do it in the Desmos calculator. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Times 2 is 16. Times 2 is 32. Times 2 is 64. Times 2 is 128. Times another 2 is 256. So this is 1 over 256. Okay. Let's go ahead and do number 16. 16 bases are the same, so you got the 12. So you got to subtract, since we're dividing here. We have a negative 3 minus, not just a 5, but minus a negative 5. Okay, and if you remember, minus a negative, same thing as a plus. So this is a negative 3 plus 5, right? It's a minus a negative 5, which is the same thing as a plus 5. So this equals a positive 2. Negative 3 minus a negative 5 is 2. Okay, so this is going to be, and it's a positive 2. So this is 12 to the second power, and 12 to the second power is 144. Okay. And then one more I'll do with you. Number 18. So this p doesn't have an exponent on it. That means there's a 1 exponent. I'm going to go ahead and write it in. So I have a 1 minus what? 1 minus a negative 4. 1 minus a negative 4. So again, minus a negative is the same thing as a plus. So that's the same thing as 1 plus 4. And 1 plus 4 is 5. So 1 plus 4 is 5. Bases are the same p, so that'll stay the same base. P to the 5th power. It's a positive 5, so I don't need to rewrite it as an exponent.